This is how to install tip-out bins. This is my dental office in Harriman, and we are putting up tip-out bins to organize our supplies. And a lot of people online said that you have to have a contractor install them or get some fancy frame system. It's actually not that hard. Just mark where all the studs are and use the straight edge to mark exactly where the stud's going to be all the way along the wall here. And it really all comes down to mounting the first one, which is pretty easy. You just screw it in, and once you get the first one mounted, you just stack them on top and screw them in. It's pretty easy. This one was a little tricky because we had to use sheetrock anchors on the side and then the one stud mounted screw in the middle. But once you get the first one mounted, it's really quite easy because then you can just stack them on top. And since you already have if you already have the studs marked, you just screw right in. Once they're sitting on top of the first one, it's quite easy. The real trick I'd encourage you to do is use a level when you're mounting the first one. So you want to start at the base where it's level. You can see I put mine just above the outlet so I still have access to the outlet down there. You want to put the first one on using a level so that it's nice and level, so that the rest of them that stack on top are all nice and level as well. So the very first step I did was I used a magnet, like it's just a little fridge magnet I used to find where the studs are. I couldn't find my stud sensor, so I kind of felt along until I found a spot where it would stick, and that's where the screw or nail is going to hold the sheetrock into the stud. You can also tell that it's there because it's above the outlet. So I used that magnet, and then I took a straight edge and just marked with a pencil along the wall where the studs are. And then once you get that first tip-out bin mounted, it's really quite easy. And then you go from there, stacking them on top and screwing them in. I think it's a good idea to use washers because these tip-out bins are just plastic and got some washers. And using the washers helps protect the tip-out bins so you don't crack them when you're screwing them in. And you want to be careful you don't over-tighten because plastic under extreme pressure will crack. So you want to just use a washer and don't over-tighten them. But you do want to screw all of them in so that you're not just resting all the weight of tip-out bins on the bottom one. So I'm putting putting 2 screws in each set of tip-out bins so that the weight of the tip-out bins, once they're loaded with stuff, doesn't put too much weight just on these lower tip-out bins. Because you can stack them and have them stack quite nicely, but I don't want all the weight resting on those lower screws so that they can hold up and share the load between the different tip-out bins. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done, but we got a whole bunch of them to put in, and it's going to be awesome to be able to get things nice and organized. So I'm going to drill a hole right there. I marked it with the Sharpie. I lined up the tip-out bin where the stud is, like this. So you can see there's the line where the stud is. I put the tip-out bin on, and I just kind of eyeball it right in line where the stud is. I put a little black dot with a Sharpie. And that's where I know how to drill the hole in the tip-out bin. So I'm going to take it over to the trash can. Set it on the trash can. Got my sharp drill bit here so it doesn't crack the plastic when you put pressure on it. I have experience from drilling holes in plastic buckets that if you push too hard without a sharp bit, you'll crack the plastic. So you don't want to push too hard. You want to let the sharpness of the drill and the speed of the drill the hole instead of you pushing on it. So drill that. You have to put some pressure there. Got a nice clean hole, and we'll clean that up and get it mounted on there. Want to scrape off that little excess plastic on the back where the hole's drilled out so it doesn't interfere with mounting flush against the wall. So you can see where my stud is marked, and then I have some holes pre-drilled in the sheetrock for the sheetrock anchors. And we'll put our last couple of tip-out bins in. So the hardest part is just mounting the bottom one nice and level, and then you just stack them on top and screw them in, and it's really not that difficult to mount. You don't need a fancy bracket mounting system. You just need to find out where your studs are, mark your studs in the wall. I drew some faint lines with a pencil and a straight edge, or you can use a chalk line if you want, but just use a straight edge like a yardstick or something, and a pencil, and mark out where their studs are, and then you can drill into the studs when you can. And then if you only have one stud available where you need to put it, then you can use a stud in the middle and then drywall anchors on the sides, and it should hold up just fine and be plenty strong for the type of things you put in tip-out bins. So anyway, thought I'd give you some tips on how to mount tip out bins. It's going to be really nice to be able to organize things in my dental office better. My profession by day is a dentist. I'm a dentist by day and a how-to person by night. When I'm home, I like to do things around the house to fix things up at the house. My dad was an electrical contractor, so by day I'm a dentist, and by night I do things around the house to fix them up. So this is putting tip-out bins in my dental office, and I thought it'd be helpful for any of you who are looking to install tip-out bins in your home or your dental office. It's really not that difficult to do. You don't need to hire someone to do it. It's really quite simple to do. And you also don't need to buy the fancy mounting system. And I was just able to use regular screws and some washers. They're very inexpensive from Home Depot or any hardware store. So thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and enjoy some tip-out bins. They're going to be nice to have.